Ahoy there and welcome. We are so excited to have you here. Welcome to Startup Next, where we talk about what's coming up next in our live educational series. Now, our upcoming virtual event that I want you all to know about is called Twilio Startup Labs, Demystifying the Customer Engagement. Not the customer engagement, demystifying customer engagement. And it's happening on November 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and you should totally register for it. Twilio Startup Labs wants to help make customer experience your competitive advantage. Now, here at Twilio, we have a lot of information on how to build, but what Twilio Startup Labs is going to focus on is what to build, and most importantly, why you should build it. So the show that you're watching here right now is called Startup Next. It's like when you go to the movies, like, beforehand, and it's like the behind the scenes of what's going on. This is that show. This is like Startup. What's up next? What's up next with that? So start up next. It's like a portmanteau. We're so glad you're here with us. So when you register to attend this show, we are going to send you a calendar reminder, which I happen to find super beneficial. Now, the behind the scenes portion, I am so happy to introduce today. I have with me the presenter, the wonderful developer evangelist, Alex Goldman. You might recognize Alex from this year's Signal, where he connected a humanoid robot to AI and karaoke rapped with it. So Alex is a ton of fun, and I'm glad that we get to have this behind the scenes moment with him. That robot stunt that Alex did was actually pretty on brand, wasn't it, Alex? You've spent a lot of time with robots. Can you tell us why that is, Alex?
Yeah, well, I've always loved building physical things. Like I studied mechanical engineering in my undergrad, and then a couple of years ago, I actually had the opportunity to go back to grad school, and I got a graduate degree, a master's in robotics and autonomous systems and artificial intelligence. And it was a little odd. I was at school in Arizona at ASU and got to build some underwater robots. So I built a boat. That was a robotic boat, and then a underwater robot that would, like, a submarine drone underwater that is going to be used, and I think is being used in Hawaii and some other places to monitor the coral reefs and how they're being affected by global warming and things like that.
Whoa, that's so awesome, Alex. I hope this isn't too personal, and actually I can hear this a little bit, but I know that there's a new baby in your life. Is that true?
Yeah,
Chance
yeah.
can we get that baby to do a walk on?
Yeah, I think crawl on, carry on. Let me go grab her really quick.
That's true. She's not walking yet. She's and of course, viewers at home, this is absolutely what you want to see. I know that this is what I want to see. I might be being a little bit selfish here, but I want to see this baby. I love seeing babies. And oh my gosh.
Hi,
Oh my gosh.
Can you wave?
Hi. Hi,
Can you
Isla.
wave?
Welcome. Welcome to Startup Next. Hi. Hi there. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, is she wearing a Twilio? She waved and she's wearing a Twilio. Oh my gosh. She's wearing a Twilio.
She's got the Twilio onesie.
Hi, Isla. Oh, she's beautiful. Congratulations, Alex. I've noticed that your dad joke game has come on. How's the experience? Hi.
Yeah. Oh, you say hi to everybody? Yeah, it's been good. I've been told that my jokes actually land now that I'm a father, and before it was just kind of cringy. So, this is a good look for me for sure.
We appreciate her being on here. Alex, I have a question, and this is pretty an important question, probably one that you haven't thought about yet. But do you think that when it's time, you're going to let Isla use QR codes? Because we have a QR code.
We're gonna have to have a lot of discussions and make sure she's using QR codes in a safe way. But I think we can get there. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to bring a QR code up on the screen right now, and if you click that QR code, what's going to happen is you are going to register for Twilio Startup Labs, Demystifying Customer Engagement, which I am so excited for. You want to make sure that you scan that. Isla, when you're ready, this is a code that will get you to see your dad perform on Thursday. You probably don't need that code because you're there already.
She's all the time. I'm gonna let her go hang out with her.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for doing that, Alex. And everybody register for that. Click that link. You can register for it. Even if you can't attend, if you got something going on at that time, you're going to get a recording afterwards, as well as notes. It's going to be wonderful, a wonderful experience. And let me tell you about how wonderful it's going to be, because I want to talk to Alex a little bit more. Alex, so you've been coding submarines and things like that, but I'm always interested in your journey as a developer. So what was the Let's go all the way back. What was the first program that young Alex wrote?
Yeah, the first one that I can truly remember is a like grid world fish eating thing in Java in high school that I built. But that was a long time ago. I don't know if that counts as a program or just like a little applet. I can't really remember.
What's Grid World? What is that?
Just basically like, so grid world's something that you see in robotics a lot too, which odd, but it's basically just like call it like a 10 by 10 grid. And then whatever robot or fish can move around and it's just in a grid. So it's a really easy way to like represent the location of an virtual object in a board.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but I think the first real one I wrote is the first startup I worked on. We were working on like a job board that was more about culture match, and I wrote that all in Ruby on Rails and an entire application. And it was kind of funny because this was a long time ago. This was like 10 plus years ago, but we had in the background, everyone thought we were using AI because even back then, I guess that was a thing. But it was really just like us sitting up and like picking jobs for people and grading them. But yeah, that was the first real application I ever built.
Awesome. And at a startup, you've always kind of been doing startup-y stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, so that was your first. Let's talk about now. What was the most recent line of code you wrote? And it's okay if it's even fixing typos. Like what's the most recent thing you wrote?
Yeah, I think the most recent code I ever built, I get really excited about rapid prototyping and making things super easy for people to do sometimes without even using code. And on that vein, I've been writing a bunch of scripts to make it easier to use Airtable to call different Twilio APIs. And I, kind of have been iterating, working with some people at startups or various places that want to use them and finding where they're complicated. So I recently made one that you can call a studio flow from Airtable, and I just made it way simpler. That was my last edit, was to like, try to make it as like, you don't need to edit code for as much as possible. And it's literally just like pick the inputs and magic things happen.
Awesome. And
so
Studio's the no code editor here, and you're plugging it into, you make it even more no code to save it in the back. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I love the work that you do towards that for startups. I'm sure they love it too. So speaking of that, so we got Twilio Startup Labs, or TSL as we call it here. I know about this event because I've heard about how successful it was when you did it live, and I can't even explain how excited I am that you're able to do this now in a live virtual event. And then, of course, it'll be later available on demand for those of you who register for this. You will be able to see this on demand. And we'll also send out links about all that. But what makes me super excited is that the focus of these sessions is something that I'm really excited about, because you focus more on the what and the why instead of the how, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's so much good Twilio content out there. Like Craig, you do an awesome job of creating all this amazing learnings and all the whole level up series and super classes. Like I think that there's a lot there, and sometimes it can be a little hard to navigate, but it's all there. And I didn't want to create another set of tutorials. And the things that I heard from doing these, we did a few live ones. My counterpart in London, Frank, did some in London. We've done this in Singapore. I did one in Denver. Was a few things. First of all, some of them just had trouble navigating and figuring out like where to go find stuff. And we're trying to kind of create a little bit of a way to like point you in the right direction there. But the bigger thing, and the way that I think I can have more impact, is just having the conversations with these different startups. They don't always know what's possible. Like I had one that was a meal delivery service that participated in one in Denver, and he was sending out a ton of text messages and it was working really well. And I helped him make that a little more efficient. But at the end of the day, I was like, hey, what happens when someone texts back? And he's like, nothing, it doesn't work. It's all broken. And I'm like, okay, let's think about that. Like, can you, do something as easy as a studio flow to capture the inbound information, and then you can email them or call them afterwards? Can you later turn it into a full two-way conversation? How are you personalizing those communications? And so they knew that text messaging was important and they were using it, which was great. But the real, like, how to really create an engaging customer experience, they hadn't really thought about, just because there's not a lot of space to think about that. You're so busy building your business that it's not really the top thing to think about. I mean, I don't, people in the startup world will remember the like lean startup canvas. There's a little box for like customer channel. And that's like the last one you fill out. And usually the one that you don't even bother. You're like, yeah, I don't know. I just talk to my customers. They email me, or there's like a support button. But I actually think that that's really important And so I want to help inspire startups to just create amazing experiences. We're going to do some highlighting of existing startups that are doing a really great job, and just hopefully help anybody, not just startups, but we're really focused on startups, walk away with some ideas of some experiments they can run or what they can build next to really truly make customer engagement their competitive advantage.
Awesome. Awesome. So it's landing. Many people have been registering for this. We've been seeing a wild demand for this. So awesome. Awesome job. And I'm glad that this is on demand where people can actually come. And this is on November 16th. And that there's specifically a talk that you're talking about here, demystifying customer engagement. And I'm super excited about that. I want to know what it's about, but I don't want you to do any spoilers. We're behind the scenes, and this is the pre. No spoilers, Alex. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, my fourth slide. No, I'm not going to tell you that. So it's customer engagement's kind of this big thing, and I just want to simplify it. So we're going to start by talking about like what it is and why it's so important, and we have a lot of data to back that up. We're going to look at when you communicate with your customers and how you do that, and the different channels that you can use, and when certain ones are more appropriate than others. And then we'll talk a little bit about personalization, because this is really kind of the key to making customers feel like you care about them and you know them, and a lot of other stuff. And then under it all, we have this really cool canvas that some team members of mine wrote, because all startups have you can get stuff on one page and figure out how to use it. It's what canvases are great for. So we have a canvas we're going to be using, and kind of walking through filling that in a little bit, and just kind of help you figure out where you're at, what you should be doing, and the next few experiments you're going to be running, and hopefully come away with some actionable results from this.
Awesome. That I cannot wait for this thing to land. And I know that you get to talk to startups all the time, so this is very much what they're going through and what they're learning about. So I love hearing about the startups that you tell me about, that you get to interact with them. Do you have any? Let's inspire the audience a little bit here. Do you have any that stick out to you lately that you've been talking to? Any startups?
Yeah, I'll mention two.
Okay.
The first one's like a very new startup in the AI world. It's called Bobby Chat, and they do like cognitive behavioral therapy based AI chat over WhatsApp. And they use Twilio Studio. Like they use all the things that I would use if I was building a startup. So that was really cool to talk to. And, just in the AI space, there's a lot of super fun stuff, and seeing how people are building with Twilio and AI is always exciting. And then
Speaking of which, wait, before we talk, we should talk about
perfect segue.
Yeah. Before there's the twill.io/AI-startups. If you are dealing with, if you're a Twilio customer, you're using Twilio and you're integrating that with AI, we have a great thing for you called the Searchlight. You want to talk a little bit about that, Alex?
Sure. Yeah, we're looking to highlight the kind of most innovative and forward-thinking startups that are kind of using both AI and Twilio. We've got a panel of really awesome judges that are going to give the winners some great feedback, and some really amazing prizes to help people build on Twilio, and of course access to different people to help them. But I'm really excited about that. It's a really cool effort, all the way from the top down. I mean, this was like Jeff had an idea that got funneled through, and we get to actually do it. And I mean, just learning more and seeing the different things that people are building are really inspiring, and definitely apply. I think there's not really a downside to the application. There's definitely a couple of questions there, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think everybody, if you're interested in, and also you can also, if you know somebody who's doing, you're like, they're using communications in a super rad way with this new AI stuff. Also, you can nominate them there. So twill.io/AI-startups, which I know we should be seeing in your chat as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Hit it. What's your? You said you had two. What's yours?
Yeah, the other one it's one of my favorite companies, just period, these days, and they're kind of in the very growing stage. They're like pretty established. It's a company called Ridwell, and their whole mission is to help people keep more things out of the landfill. So like I'm a customer of theirs, and nowadays, just because I work at Twilio, anytime I get a text message from a company, I respond to see what happens. actually happened to, it wasn't Ridwell, it was some other company, responded recently and was like, oh, that's the default Twilio SMS response. Like they didn't configure this. But Ridwell responded. They have full two-way chat. They got back to me, and their customer experience is so good. And it is so good that I actually reached out to them and was able to do a little interview, and we're going to have some clips from a few people on their team talking about how they think about customer engagement and all the amazing things that they do mixed into the TSL talk. So I'm really excited to be bringing that in as well.
Awesome. That's super rad. Thank you for sharing that. I want to make sure that everybody knows there's a QR code to register for this. You do not want to miss this. And again, if you cannot make it on Thursday at this Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, register anyway, and you will get a recording, a link to the recording of this, and you'll be in the loop of what's happening with this, because you don't want to miss this. This is really awesome stuff. As you can see, Alex is super fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun learning with him, and maybe the baby will come on again. I don't know. I can't promise that the baby will be there. Probably not. We probably won't have the baby there. So that was a behind the scenes only look that you got here today. Signal is also available on demand. So like if you miss Signal, which is our large engagement, there's a developer keynote, which is awesome. And again, Alex raps with robots in it, hooked up to Karaoke and Twilio. It's really fun. Check it out. I think it's signal.twilio.com, and you can just log in there and check that out.
Yeah, and if you do watch that, just remember that you won't see Craig's face in the Signal developer spotlight, which is what we're talking about. But you will hear Craig's voice through a robot as well. So.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
We robot puppeteered together in that. Awesome. Well, everybody, we hope that you enjoyed this behind the scenes look to what is coming up with Twilio Startup Labs, Demystifying Customer Engagement, and we cannot wait to see you there. That's this Thursday. Scan the QR code. It's also in the description. We can't wait to see you. And also, if we don't see you there, and if we do see you there, we can't wait to see what you build. We'll see you real soon. Thanks for hanging out.